Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
You know, you didn't just fail once. Your habits did. Find the pattern and you'll find the pivot.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in today. So here is something that I would like for you to consider. Instead of focusing on a single mistake, look for recurring behaviors, decisions, or blind spots that led to the failure. So instead of looking at one mistake or one misstep, let's looking for recurring behaviors. They may have led to that misstep. Sometimes we don't look that hard. Again, I've said in a previous episode, I've even said it when I'm doing interviews with some really fabulous guests, that there are times where we really don't want to look at the behaviors that we have had over a period of time, meaning that we don't want to look in the mirror. We don't want to look at recurring decisions that might have been a misstep. Again, we don't want to look in the mirror. And when you take a look at the mirror, there can be some blind spots, because I do believe that when we look, as we're driving and we look in the mirror, there are some spots within the mirror that we can't see 100% of the time. Sometimes it's turned too far in. We can't see just beyond the mirror. Sometimes there might be something in the way in the mirror. Sometimes it could be something on the mirror that we don't always see. Or there's sometimes that we get so fixated on one space that we miss something that appears to be a blind spot in that. So a lot of times that because we don't want to look in the mirror, and we reject the mirror because we don't like what we see, we are now creating those moments or those behaviors where we want to run away or refrain or shy away from certain situations, certain topics that will, if we just face it head on, in some cases, we can handle the situation a little differently. Even if we went a roundabout way of handling it, which is not always the best way, but in not dealing with it at all, and sometimes going a roundabout way can appear to be not avoiding it as well, a form of avoidance. And so we need to change this narrative of not looking at what led to our moments of failure. We need to change the narrative that, all things are bad or whatever it is. Again, it's a form of thinking, a negative thought, limiting beliefs, things like that helps to contribute to the challenges that we have created because of our behavior. things that we have created because of the decisions that we have made over a period of time. And a decision of not looking at ourselves in an honest manner, not being open-minded to suggestions or to thoughts or to even relearn a situation thinking, hey, business hasn't changed in 30 years. Let's rethink that for a moment, right? Maybe the idea is that business hasn't changed, but the way people approach it is differently. It's different than it might have been 30 years ago. If you think of any psychology course and, anybody from Maslow or whatever it is, and you start to look at some of their philosophies, and the philosophies haven't changed, and the desires of people, their hierarchy of wants and needs and desires and this, that, and the other, no, overall it hasn't changed, but the manner of people trying to achieve those things have evolved into something just a little different than it might have been in the past. There might still be some attributes of it in how they're achieving it, but the real method of them getting to that might have changed. So let's look at things that might have been a recurring idea or thought or process because we might have been turning down ideas and suggestions or whatever else over the period of time that have led to this moment of failure. And so when we take a look at driving and the blind spots, there are times where we have to correct our course a little abruptly, and more abruptly because we're now startled, because we weren't aware that there was a car over there. We weren't aware that there was a motorcycle. We weren't aware that, there's a kid running in the street or a ball bouncing across the street, whatever the situation is, and so now we have these blind spots, as we're driving, whether it's a mirror, whether it's trying to look back and you have these big pillars on the car, the A, B, and C pillars of a car, and you can't see past them because of, even though it might be all of 3 inches or 4 inches on the car, but it can stretch to be 20 feet, 40 feet, the wider it gets because you can't see. The field of vision is not the same. So now what is that for you when you look at your career? What are your blind spots? What's in the way that you can't see? But is it because you can't see it because it was a decision that you made? Was it because someone else created that? But they only created it because you allowed it to a degree. You didn't ask the right questions. You didn't put yourself in the right room. You didn't put forth enough effort to show that, hey, you have interest in it. So, and that's a behavior. That's something that's consistent. Oh, Maurice, when we were in the meeting, you didn't raise your hand. You have all the questions outside of the meeting, but when it's time to step up, you didn't ask the question. You were right there. So let's look at it from this perspective and why this matters. Because what we need to do, we need to recognize the patterns. We need to recognize these patterns because it helps us to correct our course for long-term success. So yes, we might have to jerk the wheel real quick and correct our path just a little bit. And yes, it might be herky-jerky. It might feel like we're giving ourselves whiplash or whatever it is. But hopefully it doesn't put you in a position where you have hit something incorrectly. That it was just a brief moment in time where you just had to pivot real quick and you're right back on track. So if we're recognizing these patterns, so it helps us to course correct for long-term success and not just short short-term fixes. Because even it looks like a short-term fix, we're going to have to repeat it again at some point in time in our lives and fix it again. And I'll use this analogy real quick. If you have a roof on your home, whether you're renting, buying, whatever it is, you have a roof up there and you have to fix it, and it's going to cost you $1,000 to recover the whole roof, or it's going to cost you $150 for this one little corner, and the one little corner is the problem. Well, guess what? You can fix that one little corner, but that one little corner now has the opportunity to fail again because of the water, the rain, whatever it might be. So it might be better for you to just pay the $1,000 and get everything done. So now you have a full coverage for your full 10 years versus that one little patch that would be covered for 6 months. So consider these scenarios, consider these situations, and understand that the pattern that you might have been going down might be the reason why you're finding yourself in places of failure. I thank you very much for listening today.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.